In today's show, we're looking back at the last 2 weeks to tell you who the best players are in fantasy basketball. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_Beeble and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. This episode is brought to you by TrueBill. TrueBill is the new app that saves you money by helping you identify and stop paying for the subscriptions that you don't want or need, and can even negotiate better deals on those that you want to keep. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So what we're going to do, look back over the last 2 weeks, see who the best players have been on a per game basis for category leagues, for Yahoo points leagues, and for ESPN points leagues. So let's get into it. 9 category leagues. Number 1 over the last 2 weeks has been old Kevin Durant. He is averaging, in that time frame, a ridiculous 29.6 points per game. That is obviously a lot of scoring from Durant. He's also playing 40 minutes a night over that time with 8 rebounds, and he's not even shooting that well. 45 from the field, but 92 from the line's been excellent. He's been amazing. He has been the number 1 guy only by a small margin, because the bloke in number 2 is somehow number 2. I don't know how, but Jarrett Allen is the number 2 player over the last 2 weeks. How's that even possible?
All right, that's good stuff.
21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, 74% shooting, 81% from the line. At a quick guess, what's his best category after those numbers I've gave you? I know what the answer is, so I'll tell you. It's field goal percentage. It is double the impact of every other category, because his usage is at 21 and he's hitting 74%. If that even drops to 62, then he does tumble down the ranks. But it's been a huge run. He's only really a big negative in threes because he doesn't hit any, but massive rebounds, massive blocks, massive field goals, not hurting free throws. Just huge stuff from Jarrett, who is now the 27th ranked player for the season. Number 3. What a weird top 3 this is. LaMelo Ball. He's only played 4 games. He's out in the COVID protocols, but 21 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, 1.5 steals. Great from the line, 88%, and not horrible from the field. Not great, but 42%. So big numbers again from LaMelo, who's now the 6th ranked player this season. And then at number 4, it is Big Chungus. Jokić is back to number 1 for the entirety of the season, averaging 25, 13, and 9. His free throws are at 74. He's at 55 from the field. It's good to see those 9 assists back up for him, because they had been down earlier in the year. So some good numbers there for Big Chungus Nikola Jokić. The number 5 ranked player is Trae Young, who's been excellent. 29 points, 3.5 triples, almost 11 assists. No steals or anything, but the efficiency's up. 46 from the field, 84 from the line. He is now the 7th ranked player this year. He was like an early second round pick and was a little bit iffy on it. Like, yeah, maybe not. Wasn't able to get there last year, but he's been great. Improving his efficiency has obviously helped those numbers. Number 6. Talk about what a weird top 10 this is. Jarrett Allen, LaMelo Ball. Then at number 6, it's Terry Rozier. 37 minutes for Tez. 22 points, 4 threes on 49% shooting. Rozier's doing this, including 50% from 3. There is obviously going to be regression from Rozier. 1.5 steals. He's also blocking a shot per game, but a nice little hot streak. Number 7, Donovan Mitchell.
He's done. He's good.
28 points, 4 threes, 51%. That's the killer, 51%. 43 on threes, 58 on twos. He's the 12th ranked player this year. He's taken that big step forward that we hoped he could. I was picking him like maybe end of second, start of third round, and was iffy on it. It worked out pretty well. And then number 8, it is LeBron James.
Fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
LeBron's played 39 minutes a game over the last 2 weeks. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 8.5 assists. 1.8 steals is gigantic. Also 50 from the field and 74 from the line. LeBron, this season, is the 5th ranked player in fantasy leagues. He was getting drafted in the 3rd round. I picked him in one draft at like the turn of the 2nd. I had no thought at all about LeBron being a 1st round guy. In a points league, yeah, fringe 1st round player. In a category league, not a chance. How's he doing this? Well, he went from shooting under 70 last year to 77 from the line. That's the big difference, right? Is that he was a gigantic negative, and now he's actually just neutral in that category. Also, the steals have gone from 1.1 to 1.9. And doing this while dropping assists and dropping rebounds because of Westbrook is very impressive. But it's an efficiency rise, and it's a gigantic steals rise, almost doubling his steal numbers. That has pushed LeBron into the top 10 this season, which honestly is staggering to me that he is at that spot. But what isn't staggering to me is knowing that there is a way that I can get rid of all of those unwanted subscriptions that I have. Like, if you are constantly signing up for subscriptions, which you might be, they can be impossible to cancel. So never pay for an unwanted subscription again with TrueBill. TrueBill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, want, or you simply forgot about. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, TrueBill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and TrueBill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your TrueBill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so that you don't have to. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now, truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you thousands a year. truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. The rest of the top 20 at number 9 is Jim Harden. He's averaging almost 11 assists per game over the last 2 weeks. Harden is the 3rd ranked player this season, putting up 21, 9.5, and 10, and almost 11 assists over the last 2 weeks. The shooting still is an issue, 37% from the field. At some point, it's going to normalize consistently, and his numbers are going to look great. But he sits there at number 9. And at number 10, the big fella, Domantas Sabonis. Did not expect him to be there. He is now into 18 for the course of the year. Really cranking at the moment. 19 and 14. That rebound number is huge. Still only 5 assists. Still low usage, but 61 from the field and 85 from the line. He is notoriously not a good free throw shooter, but he's hitting them. Bringing that with the high field goal percentage and those big rebounds is pushing him way up. So a big stretch here from Domantas Sabonis to get it to number 10. And I told you it's a weird group here. Number 11 is Darius Garland. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3.1 triples, 52% shooting for Garlo. I think Garlo can remain a top 50 guy, but he's not going to... Top 50, holy shit, no. Maybe top 20, maybe top 25. But 52% shooting from 3 is going to fall off. Usage, assist, all that'll stick, but I think that 3-point shooting will drop. And then at number 12, it is Jayson Tatum, who's averaging 10 boards and 27 points with 4 assists, 44 from the field. We know he's been frustrating, but he is now into the 25th ranked player. Remember, he was like 70th? Him and Beal and Lillard were all like 60 to 80 range for the first few weeks. He stepped up. The other two, maybe not really quite as much. To round out the top 20 for category leagues, at number 13, it is Stephen Curry. 14 is Joel Embiid. 15, Jerami Grant. 16 is Tone Davis. 17 is Dejounte Murray. 18 is Lonzo Ball. 19 is DeMar DeRozan. And at number 20 is Karl-Anthony Towns. Some names you might be interested in who are just outside. It's interesting, Kelly Oubre's at 23. Scotland Barnes at 25. Luka Dončić at 28. One spot ahead of Luka is the Sly Hog himself, Cade Cunningham.
My name is Richie Cunningham.
He's at 27. Zach LaVine's at 31. Maximum Derek White is at 32.
Maximum Derek.
Mobley's at 38. Dan Gafford's at 40. Some very interesting names there, isn't there? Very interesting. Valanciunas down at 57. Interesting stuff when you look at things on a 2-week basis, and just shows how much stuff can actually vary during the season. And you can have big ups and big downs for many times during the year. Let's look at Yahoo Points Leagues now. And the number 1 player in Yahoo Points Leagues is actually pretty surprising as well. It's Joel Embiid. He's averaging 55 points per game in the 7 games that he's played. 28 and 13, over 4 assists. They're big numbers. That's well up on his season average, which is at 48, but he's still the 4th ranked player in Yahoo Points Leagues this season. Again, a bit of a surprise to see him that high. Number 2 is Big Chungus, averaging 55. That's right on his average. Number 3 is the GOAT himself, LeBron James, who's at number 6 for the season. He's averaging 52 fantasy points over this stretch. And then Kevin Durant, who's not normally the best fantasy points guy, is at 4. 51 points over the last 2 weeks, 47 for the season. He's at number 8 for this year. So big stuff from Kevin Durant to get into that area of the rankings. At number 5 is Durant's teammate, Jim Harden, averaging almost 50 fantasy points over that time frame. That's up from 46 for the season, so he's making a charge. Number 6 is LaMelo Ball, who's at 49.5. He's at 45 for the season, so a nice little bump in his value. 7 is Trae Young, who's up to 49, up from 44 for the season as well, based on that really high shooting number. And that number 8 is Anthony Davis, who's at 49, which is basically where he's been all season. But Anthony Davis is the number 3 ranked player this year. We've had a real surge in numbers. Anthony Davis averages 49 points per game. He's 3rd in fantasy points. He's averaging 49 over these last 2 weeks. He's 9th. Just showed you these guys all taking this big leap up, a big spike, pushing them ahead of Davis. But I don't think, again, you would have expected him to be at number 3 for the season in fantasy points leagues. But what you should expect is as we head to Christmas that you know what is going to be your great flavorful gift to yourself and to your friends and family. It's Built Bar. Built Bar, it's time to grab yourself a box. If you haven't done it already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Maybe it's because you can't spell it. B-U-I-T-E-L. My God, I can't even speak. BUILT.com, built.com. That's where you go because there's so many great flavors and they taste so delicious. It's like having a candy bar, but it's not because it's low in calories, it's low in sugar, it's low in fat, it's low in calories, and it's high in protein. What a great combination. It's a double threat, a dual threat, some might say. Little Bobby, he loves his Built Bars. Massive for him. He writes his letter to Santa. Dear Santa, I want 1 million Built Bars. Little Bobby, 1 million's a lot. Because I know, maybe 500,000? 500,000 Santa could probably swing. He's got a lot because he knows how popular they are. So, head to Built.com. Use our code LOCK15. Santa's probably using that code as we speak. Get 15% off your Built Bars. Built Bar. We're built different. And now, if you want to place your bets, there's more props, there's more odds, there's more lines at BetOnline. It is the best place to go as football season marches towards the playoffs. BetOnline is your number 1 spot, in fact, for all sports action, whether that's basketball or football or hockey or UFC or boxing, and right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait. Take advantage of all of the great offers they have for the 2021 season. And one of those great offers is signing up now on their new updated desktop site and using the code LOCKEDON, and that gives you a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline is where the game starts. Okay. Number 9 on Yahoo Points Leagues over the last 2 weeks is the big fella, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
47 fantasy points for Yanni. He is number 2 for this season, averaging 54, so a little bit of a drop-off for him recently. Number 10 is Dejounte Murray, who's basically at his season average. He's the 10th ranked player this year. He's doing pretty much what I thought De'Aaron Fox would do this season, and I thought Fox could be a borderline first-round points league player. He obviously isn't, but Murray's sort of doing it, and that's just showing that you can be that guy who's not quite that level in a category league, so Murray's a bit less, but you can be a first-round points league guy. Murray's doing that now. Number 11, I didn't expect him to be here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's at 46. Now, he's averaging just 37 for the season. He's shooting a horrible number from 3, which is impacting his field goal percentage in category leagues. But in points leagues, we don't care. 26 points, 7 assists, good numbers. 1.2 blocks as well. That's pushed him all the way up here. And then at number 12, it is Jayson Tatum, same spot in category leagues and in Yahoo Points Leagues. And to round out the top 20, number 13 is Luka Dončić, who's at 5 for the season. Then we go Karl-Anthony Towns at 14, Jarrett Allen at 15, who's well up on his 38 fantasy points that he's averaging this season. Sabonis at 16, Christian Wood, the crucifix, at 17. Steph Curry is at 18. D'Angelo Russell is at 19. A bit of a sheave. What is it?
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
And then at number 20 is DeMar DeRozan, who's played 5 games with 28 points over that time frame. So he comes in at number 20 for Yahoo Points Leagues. Let's look at ESPN Points Leagues, and at number 1 there, it is Big Chungus Nikola Jokić.
Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus,
I think this is the first time that I've done this ranking show where there's been a different number one in Yahoo categories, or your category leagues in general, Yahoo points and ESPN points. Different player across all formats, which I don't think I've seen all season. So Jokić leads ESPN, averaging 58. 56. He's at 58 over the course of the season. He's the number one player in ESPN points, and he's the number one player here. Number 2 is Giannis at 54. That's up on his number of 53.13 for the season. Have I done that right, or have I done that wrong? I've got a feeling I've done this wrong. I have done it wrong, and that is unbelievably frustrating. I'll be back. All right, so let's rephrase that with ESPN leagues. That's the correct number. Jokić is at number 1, but at number 2, it's LeBron James who stepped up there, averaging almost 54 fantasy points. That's up from 49 over the season. He's still number 5 for the year. Number 3 is LaMelo, who's up from number 8 for the season up to number 3 here, averaging 52 fantasy points. And then number 4, it is Joel Embiid, who's up to 52 points as well. He's just at the edge of the first round for ESPN points leagues, number 12 for the year. So a big step up from him. At number 5, we've got Trae Young averaging 51 fantasy points. At number 6, it's Anthony Davis, who's been great again this year, number 4 in ESPN points leagues. Number 7 is Kevin Durant, averaging a flat 50. That's up a little bit from him, but he is 6th over the course of the year. And then at number 8, Dejounte Murray, who's actually 7th for the season, averaging 48 fantasy points. He has been an absolute stud this year. At number 9, it's Jarrett Allen at 48 fantasy points per game, up from 39, but he's a top 25 guy this year somehow. And then it is Terry Rozier at 10, who's taken an even bigger step forward. 61 for the year, up to number 10 here. We talked about that before on some really, really hot shooting. 11 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, up to 46 fantasy points from 36 for the year, and Jim Harden's at 46 here too. Harden's the 11th ranked player this season, coming in 12th in this one. And then to round things off, at number 13 is Don Mitchell. Number 14 is Luka Dončić. 15 is Steph Curry. 16 is Kelly Oubre, averaging 44 fantasy points. For reference, for the year, he's at 27.7. So a gigantic hot streak with everyone out in Charlotte. Giannis is at 17, so a big cold streak from him. He's number 2 for the year, down from 53 points here, though, to 44. Then at 18 is his teammate Drew Holiday. 19 is the crucifix Christian Wood. And at number 20, it is Jayson Tatum. That will do it for us today, guys. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. If you're on YouTube here, thumb me up, leave a comment down below, subscribe, notification bell, all that stuff, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.